Hi everyone, it's Katie here to help out the first and second trumpets on Egmont Overture. So we're going to start by just checking out the key signature at the beginning and talking a little bit about it. We can see here that there's 3 sharps in the key, and I created a little thing that can help us. So if we have 3 sharps, we know that we have F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. Okay, so I encourage you to pause the video, make sure that you know the correct fingering for F sharp, which is the second valve. C sharp, if you're playing a high C sharp, it's 1 and 2. If you're playing a low C sharp, it's 1, 2, 3. That's referring to your valves. And then a G sharp is a second and third valve. All right, so pause the video, give those notes a try, and then click play when you're ready to rock. Okay, once you got those, we can go down and check out the scales that I've posted here. 3 sharps, we're technically in our A major, but it would be concert G. So if the conductor ever says, play your concert G, you're going to play an A. So you can practice this scale now to really internalize those 3 sharps, going from low A to second space A, making sure that you play B natural here, a C sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. Okay, you can also choose to do this higher octave to get used to playing this higher C sharp here with your first and second valve. Just to kind of save your lips, I have you jumping down to the low E, since that would bring us up to a very, very high A, and we don't have any of those in this piece yet, at least. Okay, so pause the video, practice playing this scale, really feel what it is like to play with 3 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. Then let's move into Egmont. This piece is pretty friendly for the trumpet players. It doesn't get super technically hard, but it is tough to remember those 3 sharps. So I really do think that's the biggest thing. One thing I wanted to draw attention to is this SF, and this SIM. That means similarly. So we're going to play these SF. That means sforzando with force. So it's almost like an accent. So make sure that we're articulating these strong. We're putting emphasis on the front of the note. And then if this means similarly, that means they want you to put a sforzando on every other dotted half note in this area. Okay. Same thing down here. We have these sforzandos. So don't play those with a normal articulation. We need to play it with force. All right. Moving on, we have more sforzandos. All right. I wanted to just draw attention to this repeat sign. I don't know that we've done this repeat sign in rehearsal, but that would be a good thing to circle, or maybe even ask about at rehearsal if you're doing that repeat sign. We have also another repeated section here at 102, 108. So just make sure that when you hit this repeat sign at 108, we're repeating back to 102. Here's those sforzandos again. Okay, really important that we work on that articulation here on this piece. I did want to talk about this rhythm that occurs 1, 2, 3, 4 before 120. And I know I'm referencing the first trumpet part, but if you'll look, the second trumpet part that I'm now viewing has the same articulations. That's sforzandos. We also have the repeat signs that I'm talking about. So it all applies. I want us to pay attention to this rhythm here at 116. Knowing that maybe you haven't seen 16th notes yet in your time in band class, and thankfully they're both on an E. So let's practice just this measure 116. We would count this 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, those 16th notes get a quarter of a beat, and we have an 8th note right before them, so that would be 1 E, and then we'd play and a. So it would go 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's practice that on our trumpets. I'll play with you. We're going to start. I'll give you 4 beats. I'll breathe on count 4 with you. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. If you need more practice on that, why don't you pause the video, make sure that that is nice and clean. It's kind of a fanfare for you in the trumpet section there. It's very cool. Speaking of fanfares, let's find measure 124. 124. This is where we have the quarter note, dotted 8th, 16th note, quarter note, and that repeats. And this is a true trumpet fanfare. We have it in the first and second trumpet part. I'll play both of them for you. please join me. This rhythm here is 1 and a 2. 1, 2, a 3, 4. 1, 2, a 3, 4. 1. All right, I'll play with you. This is the trumpet 1. Trumpet 1s, join me here. Trumpet 2s, hang on a second. Same rhythm though. You could maybe clap along with us. Here we go. 1, 2, already. Nice. Let's do the trumpet 2 part. Here we go. This one actually is a little bit tougher than the first trumpet part because we have to have a lot of clarity in these lower notes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Good. And I was at last rehearsal and the conductor was like, bring this out, trumpet. So really play it strong, lots of articulation, lots of space, and forte, forte. Hopefully some of this advice helps for you. Egmont is not super challenging for the trumpets. Biggest thing is the sharps, those sforzandos, and some of these more challenging rhythms towards the end of the piece. I hope that was helpful, and happy practicing, and good luck with this piece in orchestra rehearsal. Hi everyone, it's Katie here with some helpful tips for the trumpets on Introduction and Royal March of the Lions. This piece we're going to start by talking about the same thing we started off with Egmont, the key signature. Thankfully this one only has 2 sharps in the key, but still we're going to go back to that sharp practice sheet and check out those 2 sharps. So if we have 2 sharps in the piece, we know that it's F sharp and C sharp. F sharps are played with our second valve. We're not going to play any Fs with our first valve. And then we have C sharp. If we see the third space higher C sharp, we're playing it first and second valve. And if we see the lower C, C sharp, we're going to play it 1, 2, and 3, all 3 valves. Those are our only 2 sharps. And I don't have a scale for that one, but I would encourage you to play, it's your D major scale. So if your conductor ever says to play concert C, you're going to play a D, and you're going to play the D major scale. So why don't you play that along with me? Think about it, a scale, we're playing every note in between D to D, and we're going to play F sharp and C sharp. And also don't forget that you have to play your B naturals. So play it along with me. Here's a D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, high D. Practice that a few times. Really get that under your fingers with those F sharps, B naturals, and C sharps. So feel free to pause the video, practice that a couple times, and then join me on Introduction and Royal March of the Lions. I will pull up first and second trumpet parts throughout this video. Know that you guys have a lot of the same things going on. The second trumpet part though does have a few tricky little things in there that we'll talk about as well. So let's take a peek. This is the first trumpet part. We have the biggest thing I want us to work on today on this is our articulation. Look at all of these things that the composer's putting in for us to play. We can't ignore them, okay? So we have accents, strong tongue at the beginning, put some weight on it. We have staccatos, play nice and light and detached, okay? And those are all the way throughout. We have some slurs. I encourage you to, this might seem silly, but I'll do it with you, not the whole thing, but a little bit. I encourage you to say the song. So rather than play it and put it all together on your trumpet, say the song. So let's just go at measure 25. You don't have to sing it, but you can kind of sing the general pitch if you're comfortable with that. Let's just say it. So when I say it, I mean we're going to say the articulations. Here's 25. Let's try it. 1, 2, ready. Ta, 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 Ta. Do you see what I'm doing there? That's what I want you to do for this song, and it'll really help train your tongue and just your mind in recognizing all of these articulations, okay? So you go ahead and say it, then play it. Another thing I wanted to draw attention to is that even though there's only 2 sharps in the key signature, we do have a number of G's marked sharp, okay? And when our G's are marked sharp, we cannot play our G's open, but rather we have to play it sharp. So fingers 2 and 3. Fingers 2 and 3, that's our G sharp. Last thing, and this is a kind of a technical thing for trumpet that I wanted us to take a peek at because it's important. This measure here, measure 27. Measure 27, please. Again, we're on the trumpet 1 part. Trumpet 2s, a lot of this applies to you as well, but I'll go to your piece in a second. So measure 27, trumpet 2s also have this. We have D, C sharp, B natural, C sharp, D, E. This measure is full of notes on the trumpet that are horribly out of tune naturally by the way our trumpet is made. So I want you to know that on our D and our C sharp, there's this lever we can kick out with our either a 3rd finger or 4th finger, whichever one you're using. And on our Ds, we kick it out, and on our C sharps, the 1, 2, 3s, low C sharp, we kick it out as well. Okay, so make sure, start to get into a habit of when you have a D and a C sharp, we're always kicking that lever out. They're naturally very sharp, so this lowers the pitch slightly, okay? Another thing on this measure, and we're gonna practice it in a second, is this finger is working really hard in this measure, this 3rd finger, but it's also our slowest finger. And I encourage you to, rather than anchoring this pinky of your right hand in on your trumpet, pull it out, and that 4th finger will move more freely. If you look, if I anchor my pinky in, I'm no longer pressing with the tips of my fingers, and then I can't move as fast. But if I pull it out, I'm using just the pads of my fingers, the very, very tips, and I can move a little bit quicker. Let's practice measure 27 before I jump into the trumpet 2 part. This is in our lower register. We want to play with a nice clean articulation, and most importantly, we want that pinky out of its holder, and we want to be playing with the tips of our fingers, and we want to be kicking this 3rd valve slide out for our Ds and our C sharps. Here we go. Let's play it together. 1 and 2 and ready. Let's do it one more time. Did you kick it out? Did you kick it out? Let's do it one more time. 1 and 2 and ready. Awesome. All right, so practice your Ds and your C sharps, these low ones, Ds and C sharps, with your 3rd valve slide extended. Great. And hopefully your pinky was out of the holder as well. Great. Other than articulations, I think that is the most important part of this piece. Let's move to the trumpet 2 part quickly, and trumpet 1s, you should totally listen to this too. You are also full of articulations, full of these G sharps, but you even have a crazy thing happening here. You have A sharp. A sharp. And every part of you is like, holy cats, I don't know what an A sharp is, but you totally do. I'm going to pull up this keyboard quick, and A sharp, if you look, an A sharp is the exact same fingering as a B flat, okay? So you've been playing B flat for forever. B flat is our 1st valve. Good. And you know from being in band and being in other musical ensembles, at measure 35, if that first A of the measure is an A sharp, all of the A's in that measure are A sharp. So you're actually playing every A in that measure with your 1st valve. It's like a B flat, okay? And then you can see in measure 36, we switch back to the A natural. All right? You have that again in 39, okay? I think that covers the tricky parts of the trumpet 1 and trumpet 2 parts. Again, please pay attention on this one to the key signature, the plethora of articulations, staccatos, nice and light and crisp and detached, and the accents, really punchy, and the slurs, obviously no tonguing. Pay attention to those things, work on your Ds and C sharps, getting that kicked out, and good technique playing with the tips of your fingers, and you will play awesome on this. Good luck with your practicing, and good luck in rehearsals on this one, guys. Hi everyone, it's Katie. I'm here to help you with I Knew I Loved You first trumpet and second trumpet parts. So we're going to start today by, just like the other pieces, taking a look at this key signature. And holy moly, look at this key signature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sharps. Whew. Okay, so let's go into that sharps help page and take a peek. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have F sharp, second valve, C sharp. If we see a high C sharp, we're playing 1 and 2. And if we see a low C sharp, we're kicking out that third valve slide like we talked about in the previous song, kicking out the third valve slide, and 1, 2, 3. If we see a G, we're playing a G sharp, which is second and third valve. If we see a D, high D, we're playing second valve, okay? And if we see a low D, we're playing second and third valve. And then if we see an A sharp, that's our fifth sharp, we're playing at first valve. And I can review a couple things here. You might already know this, but D sharp and A sharp, you actually kind of already know because you know B flat and E flat. So let me show you something. A D sharp is the same as E flat. So you might already know that one, second and third valve, all right? Same thing, high D sharp, same thing as the high E flat, second valve. Even more common for you is a B flat. And if you look here, A sharp is the same as B flat. So rather than writing some of the fingerings in your music, which you're welcome to do, you could even write in, it's called the enharmonic note. So if you're more familiar with a B flat, you could always, above an A sharp in your music, you could always write B flat, and that could help you know to put first valve. Same thing, if you're more familiar with E flats, whenever you see a D sharp, you could always put E flat above it to give you kind of that reminder that it's the same fingering and actually the same pitch as well. That's called an enharmonic. All right, lowering that. So if we have 5 sharps in the key signature like we do at the beginning of this piece, we're playing F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. And I put a little scale down here that could help you. We're reading concert A. And so if we're playing in concert A, we're actually going to start on B. We're going to play a scale from B to B, and we're going to be playing F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. Whew. Okay, let's practice this concert A scale. I encourage you to pause the video and practice this as many times as you want, but play it along with me. Here we go. So if you got any of those pitches wrong, it didn't quite sound right with me, I encourage you to go back, check out the order of the sharps, which sharp did you forget, and maybe write in the fingering or write in the enharmonic pitch, and keep practicing this scale to really internalize that key signature in your brain, okay? Then, in order to complicate things even more, if you'll look at measure 45 in this piece, we have a key change. Okay, thankfully they're taking away a sharp. So let's look at 45. We go from having 5 sharps to 4 sharps. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we get to leave behind that A sharp. We finally get to play our normal A's, 1 and 2. We still will play those D sharps. So we could also practice that scale when we get to 45. Let's play that one together. 4 sharps you can see here is concert D. We're going to start and end on E, and we're going to play 4 sharps in between. Play it along with me. Feel free to pause the video and practice this as many times as you need. Here we go, concert D. Awesome. Again, if there were any pitches in there that didn't quite match with me, go ahead, check out the fingerings up here at the top, and keep trying, keep trying. Awesome. Okay, now that we've talked about the sharps, let's talk about some of the music. Thankfully, this piece isn't too technically hard. There's not a lot of fast fingers or hard articulations, but this one is really challenging to play because it's very lyrical and smooth, okay? So I encourage you to listen to a recording of this piece online. It looks like The publisher, I'm not sure who the publisher is. It should be on here, but you should be able to find a recording of this online and listen to how the melody kind of sings, okay? These are also things you'll work on in rehearsal. There are a couple large leaps. So this is the trumpet 1 part. I'll go to the trumpet 2 part in a second. There are some large leaps, like in measure 28, from that F sharp to the D sharp. There's another big leap here from the A to the E. Those are places where we can commonly miss a partial, not get quite high enough. So try to isolate those leaps going from F sharp to D sharp. If you need to tongue them first and then try to slur them, that would be a really good practice technique there. Once you feel like you are playing the correct notes and rhythms at the right time, I encourage you to add all of these super duper important dynamics. So, sorry, my little update came. Try to add this crescendo. Make sure that when you arrive at measure 7, it's a strong forte. Same thing here, diminuendo. Make sure it kind of dies away. All of these musical things really make or break the piece. So, once you have notes, rhythms, key signature, all of those good things, focus on making music with these dynamics. The last thing I wanted to note on the trumpet 1 part is this ending. It's going to be super easy for you to not feel confident on this E entrance, okay? Even when I was recording it for the play along, I realized I was pretty timid, and my F sharp wasn't well in tune at all and not supported. And so it's going to be really easy when you're surrounded by people to be timid here. There's a strong forte though, and we need that trumpet kind of soaring up at the top. So I encourage you right here, take in these 4 measures, rest leading up to it, be confident, positive self-talk, right? And take a really big, deep breath on count 3 of measure 66 and just nail that E pickup note into 67. And don't let your E in the last 3 measures die away too quickly, okay? Really support it, That the orchestra needs that trumpet sound right there. Okay, awesome. We're going to move into the trumpet 2 part here. The trumpet 2 part, quite similar to the trumpet 1 part, making sure that we're recognizing and playing all of these really important musical aspects, these dynamics, crescendos, decrescendos. This one doesn't have quite as many challenging leaps, but it does have this really interesting rhythm here at 49, and you probably know how to play something like this. It's called syncopation, but I wanted to review this rhythm with you because we're playing on the weak parts of the beat. We're playing on the ands. Okay, so we're going to start just by clapping this measure. Okay, I'll clap it first so you can kind of get the feel for it, and then I want you to clap it. Here we go. 1 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4. I technically did measure 49 and 50. So if you felt that, we were playing on the ands almost the whole way, okay? Now you clap it with me. 1 and 2 and ready and go. 1 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's play it together. On an E, thankfully we don't have to move pitch. Play really confident here. The dynamic is forte. I think this should kind of carry through the ensemble. Here we go. 1 and 2 and ready and... Nice. Awesome. That's kind of a hidden rhythmic pattern in here, and I think it's really cool. I think that's mostly it for the trumpet 2 part. Otherwise, all of the same trumpet 1 things apply. Key signature, dynamics, make it musical, sing it out, pretend like this is your voice, because it is. All right, happy practicing on this one, and good luck in rehearsals. Hey trumpet players, this is Katie. We're working on 1812 Overture in this video. Just like all the others, we're going to start by checking out that key signature, and thankfully we've seen this one before. So this one is 4 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. All right, let's go to that page, make sure we got the fingerings, F sharp, 2nd valve, C sharp, 1st and 2nd valve for the high C sharp, 1st, 2nd, 3rd valve for the low C sharp. Remember to also kick out this 3rd valve slide for that C sharp. We have a G sharp, 2 and 3, and then a high D sharp, which is second valve, or a low D sharp, which is second and third valve. Those are our 4 sharps. We can go down to our concert D scale. We know our concert D scale will start on an E, just one step up, E to E with those 4 sharps. So I encourage you to pause this video and practice that scale up and down, really get your fingers used to it, and then when you're ready, go ahead and join us here again. All right, so moving on, we have the key signature down. My biggest advice on this one would be first to, even though it's not exactly the same arrangement, I encourage you to listen to 1812 Overture online. Okay, you could literally look up Tchaikovsky 1812 Overture. It is an incredibly famous piece, and you can really get the flavor for the tone of this piece. Full of energy, articulations are strong. Whenever you see an accent, you can really feel it. So I encourage you to do that. I wanted to start, the beginning is pretty self-explanatory, so I actually wanted to start and just review this rhythm at measure 17, because 16th notes might be new to us. And so we're going to hold this dotted quarter note for our 1.5 counts like we know. So we're going to go 1 and 2 on this dotted quarter note. We're going to move on the and of 2 and play anda, because 16th notes get a quarter of a beat. We count them 1 e anda, and this is 1 and 2 and a 3 and. All right, so we're just going to clap it first. Okay, clap it. I'll clap it and then you'll clap it. Here we go. This is that measure. 1 and 2 and a 3 and. All right, clap it with me. Ready? And now. 1 and 2 and a 3 and. Let's do it together on our trumpets. This is the trumpet 1 part, but if you'll look, trumpet 2s, if I could find your first page here, same rhythm, right? E on an E, 1 and 2 and a 3 and then the trumpet 1 part is on an F sharp. That's funky. I'll play the trumpet 1 part. Trumpet 2s, go ahead and play your E. It'll clash a little bit, but know that you're playing it correctly. Here we go. Let's practice that rhythm. 1 and 2, go. Awesome. Then I want you to take your pencil, because you have one, a pencil, and circle the ritardando in measure 18. The ritardando in measure 18. It's going to be super important right here that you watch the conductor, because she's going to slow down. That's what ritardando means. And then if you look at 19, we're really going to take off in an allegro tempo. And so you're going to want to make sure you catch that tempo. Okay? I'm not sure if she's going to be taking it in cut time, so I'm just going to count in a fast 4 for this video, but know that she might be taking it in cut time, but I'm sure she'll explain that to you in rehearsal, okay? This one is probably your toughest one technically, and so I just want to give you a few tips. First, I think measure 23 and 24, even though they're comfy notes, we know C sharp, we know F sharp, we know G sharp, that really works this 4th finger, and we talked about this in a previous video. We want to get the pinky out of this key ring, this one that anchors your pinky, bring it out so we can move this 4th finger even faster, even more freely. We want to be playing with the very, very tips of our fingers. So measure 23, let's play this measure really, really slow, and then I can show you how you can kind of work it up and train your fingers, because it's tough. Here we go, 23. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's go about that tempo. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's go a little bit quicker. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you can start to pick it up, pick it up, pick it up until you're at rehearsal tempo. I'm not exactly sure what your rehearsal tempo will be. I'm not sure if we'll get to this half note equals 80. But if you do, keep practicing it slow, work it up, work it up, work it up every time you practice. I think that's a really tough, challenging fingering. Trumpet 2s, you also have that fingering there, and it's tough. It's tough. Before we move on to kind of the next section, I just want to point out some of these articulations that occur from measure 19 to measure 35. This is kind of the B section here, the new section at 19 here. And so we have these staccatos followed by accents. Let's play just that measure. We're going to go ta, ta, ta. Okay, really nice and light, and then punch that half note. 1, 2, ready. Okay, and you can see how it repeats itself over and over again. Really make those changes, those articulations really distinct. Okay, here we go. Measure 35. What you're seeing on the screen is the trumpet 1 part, but if you'll notice trumpet 2s, you have the same rhythm. And so if trumpet 2s, if you could kind of follow along, actually, I'll keep the trumpet 2 part in front of me. Trumpet 1s, you follow along with the trumpet 2s for this video. We're looking at the triplet rhythm here. And so we have these eighth note triplets, and then we have these quarter note triplets, eighth notes right here, quarter note triplets right here. And so for the eighth note triplets, we are trying to fit three notes, three kind of eighth notes, we're not going to call them eighth notes though, 3 notes into 1 beat. And an easy way to do this is to just say triplet. Okay, so I'm going to clap and count aloud, measure 35, and then you're going to do it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Triplet, 3, 4. You can kind of hear that those 3 eighth notes, not really eighth notes, are in count 2. 1, triplet, 3, 4. Okay, can you clap it with me, and then we're going to play it? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Triplet, 3, 4. Now let's play it. Again, I'm playing the trumpet 2 part, but trumpet 1s you can play along with me. Your pitches will be different, but the rhythm is the same. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I started too high. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Feel free to pause the video, rewind if you need to practice that rhythm. You can see how now the next measure exactly the same rhythm, the next measure exactly the same rhythm. Good? Cool. We're moving on to measure 39. These are triplets as well, but they're quarter note triplets. And so this time we're trying to fit 3 notes into 2 beats. All right. You can say triplet this time as well, but they're a little bit more spread out. So this is our tempo. I'm going to say the triplets. You can kind of feel it. Triplet, 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 triplet. Let's do it again. You say it with me. I'm going to clap the actual beats, but you're going to say triplet with me. Here we go. 39. 1, 2, and ready, go. Triplet, 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 triplet. All right, let's play together. Measure 39 and 40. Trumpet 1s, you're on your own pitch-wise. Trumpet 2s, I'm going to play your pitches with you. Don't forget your sharps. Here we go. 1, 2, ready. Nice. Feel free to pause the video, rewind, practice that section until it feels really good. All right. Measure 43. Triplets are back. Eighth note triplets are back. You can do that. I want to call attention to the very end of this piece. We're viewing the trumpet 2 part, but trumpet 1s, we're at measure 49. Measure 49. Make sure that all of these accented eighth notes are really punchy. This is the big finale, and if you listen to 1812 Overture, the actual piece played by a professional orchestra, you know that the ending is totally intense, and so we need to mirror that in our piece. Make sure that we're tonguing these eighth notes intensely, firm attack, and then when we get to like measure 54 and 55, I want you to treat these like bell tones. So that means really firm attack, and then some space afterwards. So if 54, we'd go ta, 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 really, really heavy with some space in between, okay? That was the trumpet 1 part we were reviewing, but you can see that the trumpet 2s do the same thing, all right? Hopefully that clears some things up in 1812 Overture. I think this one could probably use the most practice for you guys. So really, really work on some of these things we talked about here. Don't hesitate to slow things down. Don't hesitate to ask your conductor if you have questions or are confused about something, everyone's happy to help you out. So with that, I wish you the best of luck practicing and good luck with this piece of music.